Molweni Betuna, igama lam ngu-Asanda Qoboka, a mother of two and also a mother of a deaf child. Today I'll be discussing a very interesting topic and a very exciting topic for the deaf community and parents of deaf children. On the 2nd of May 2023, Parliament set on and voted on a bill on whether or not to include sign language as part of the official languages that we already have. At the time, we had 11 languages, and all the parties voted in favor of including sign language as part of the 11 languages that we had at the time, which makes our overall languages 12, which would make our languages 12. After that, recently on the 19th of July, the president signed the bill. It was a big event at the Union buildings.
Drop your cell phones and not cameras.
Check for the cell phones and reserve for the main TV picture.
It was a recorded event. People, representatives from the deaf community also were there, and a lot of people were there. Media was there. It was a great moment for a lot of people who were also there, and also for people who were watching, people like us who were watching from the distance, and people who are living with this impairment, and people who are the supporters of the people who live with this impairment. So the bill was signed on the 19th of July, which makes it now, which takes us as South Africans, to 12 official languages, including sign language. South Africa becomes, believe it or not, it becomes the 4th country in the continent to make sign language as an official language. The continent consists of 54 countries, and we only have 4 countries that recognize sign language as an official language. This is a great moment for us as South Africans, but this is a moment to also check for other countries and to actually make them recognize that sign language is part of communication. It needs to be included as an official language because as much as it is part of communication, it is also part of, it comes with culture. Language comes with culture. Language carries more than language. It carries identity of the people. Now, if you do not include that there as part of your official languages, then it means you do not recognize the culture and the identity that comes with that language and the identity of those people who are living with such impairment. It is a form of inclusion for us as South Africans now, but it is a form of exclusion for the countries that have still not added sign language as part of their official languages. The other countries that have sign language as their official languages. It is Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda, and then now it is South Africa recently. So, yeah, it is appalling that it took so much years to come to have this sign language recognized as an official language. But we are grateful that it is recognized as sign language, as an official language, because now it will open more doors for the people living with this impairment.
We aim to foster in the society not just recognize, but celebrates and value the diversity of all its citizens. We also take this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to strengthen access to justice for persons with disability, and will strictly monitor compliance with national and international obligation for the rights of persons with disability. We heard here that these important people are representing us in the international platforms. We're quite impressed. We are collaborating with the Department of Health and related stakeholders to develop 6 best practice manuals and guidelines on disabilities. These will address mental health, autism, epilepsy, acceptable terminology and disability, wheelchair provision, and deaf and blind disability, consistent with nothing about us without us. That's the slogan. The creation of framework on self-representation for persons with disability is also in our top priority for this financial year, Mr. President. In addition, we recognize the unbalanced impact of climate change on persons with disability. To this end, we are supporting a research project on climate change adaptation of the well-being of persons with disability in collaboration with the University of Johannesburg, University of Ghana, and York University. We have come a long way since the South African School Act of 1996, which formalized South African Sign Language in education for purpose of learning at public schools, especially special schools. From here onwards, we are fast-tracking education and awareness campaigns through initiative and ensure that the development of regulation of South African language, early identification of deafness and deaf, blind, and clinics within our clinics and schools. All deaf children should have access to quality early childhood development like all other children. Care and education in South African Sign Language provision should be made for training family members and society in general in South African Sign Language for greater community engagement and development. Dedicated the September month, which is Deaf Awareness Month, to drive the implementation of South African Sign Language as an official language. On this, ladies and gentlemen, Program Director, I call upon, introduce His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. Thank you very much.
Because now, as part of this official language, then it would mean that even the government institution will have interpreters stationed for the people who are living with the deaf impairment.
People who communicate through sign language saying they want to see more and more schools for deaf people. And this is something that we are going to do. And those schools that we now have already been provided with qualified personnel. It is also crucial that there are sign language interpreters to enable access to services for people who cannot hear or hear properly. For many years, the lack of sign language interpreters at the courts, the police stations, hospitals, clinics, and many service centers or points have been compromising access to justice for victims of violence, including victims of gender-based violence and many other crimes. Policies with fully resourced implementation plans are indeed required to realize the constitutional ideal of multilingualism. Allow me then to congratulate all stakeholders who have participated in this journey, and particularly as they kept chanting the slogan, "Nothing without us, nothing about us without us." For all the efforts that you have made, we are truly grateful. Much as this has come late, it has finally arrived. This also includes the efforts that have been made by the Portfolio Committee in Parliament, the various government departments, as well as every role player on this great milestone that we have achieved today. Yesterday, we commemorated 105th birthday of the father of our nation. One of his most famous quotes was, "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities." The signing into law of this bill today brings us all the more closer to the ideal that Madiba articulated. And so today is a great day, and I thank you all for being here, for helping me not to have a lonely process of signing a bill into law. Today I have company, and happy company indeed, and thank you. So thank you all. Thank you.
There's a very disturbing post that I read where a child had to sit and be an interpreter in their parents' divorce proceedings. I mean, really? Really? I mean, divorce, I can really imagine divorce can be, as we've seen a lot of divorces, they never really, there's only a tiny drop where divorce is amicable. It is always messy. I mean, even in just general breakup situation, there are only a few breakups that are amicable. There's always emotions, and those emotions are negative, always surpasses the good emotions, the positive emotions when there's breakup. Now imagine a child having to experience their parents split first. Now, on this split, the child has to interpret, because both parents were deaf, and then the child was the hearing one, and the court did not have an interpreter stationed. I mean, really stationed for those kind of situations. It's really appalling. I could not understand that. And that also brought me to think that even with my child, I have never seen any sign that says we do have, whenever I go to a government institution, I've never seen a sign which says we do have an interpreter for deaf people. There are wheelchair assistants, there are the stairs, and then there's those roller things for wheelchair. So it is accommodating for wheelchair-bound people. It is accommodating for other impairments, but not for deaf people, which then takes out their independence a bit. Because now, if my child needed to go to any, like, be when he's an adult, going to a home affairs, going to even a clinic, it means I would need to go there and be with him in the room, because I'm the one who, it's going to be either me or his sister who will need to go with him in the room and have the doctor, having the doctor communicate with him through me. It is really not a nice experience. It is so I'm really grateful that this bill has been passed and it has been signed, and sign language has now been included as an official language, because as just like every other language, like in Cape Town, you would know because there's a lot of the population is split between English speaking people, African speaking people, and also Amaxhosa. So most communication in Africa, in West, so most communication in Africa, in Western Cape, is done in those three languages. Even if you go to Free State, the dominant factor would be isiSotho and the rest of the English and Afrikaans. And then if you go to KwaZulu Natal, same thing. Same thing. So now, with sign language being included, it would mean it will also be included in those processes. Imagine if he goes, because he's going to need to learn to drive at some point. So with this, it would mean now there's going to be more assistance from the government that because it's on the bill of the, because it's part of the constitution now, it will make things easier for implementation of these processes through all the sectors. So this is really great. I saw the president also talking about digitalization, which is also going to make things more easier for them because we are moving into a digital world. So having those kind of support will be great. This video is going to be really short. I'm going to include some, I have included some parts, snippets from the interview and from the bill signing. So thank you so much for listening. I am Asanda Koboka, signing out. This is an I, this is an L, this is the Y is this way, but now it's that. So it is a live view. Thank you so much. Do subscribe and also share and like.